guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Debbie, and if this is your first time here, please don't make your last by clicking on that subscribe button, and if it's not, welcome back. So today I have someone here and I'm going to let her introduce herself.
Hi guys, my name is Shayo. I'm Nasa's friend. I'm a med student. And else, follow me on Instagram. I guess that's it.
Yeah, today we're just answering the question you guys sent us on Instagram. It was the faith-based questions, so we'll both be answering the questions and then we'll go from there. So yeah, let's get into it. First question is, was there any life event that solidified or strengthened your faith?
Do you want to go first?
No, you go first.
No, you go first.
You're the guest on this channel.
No, go first. Set the pace.
No, set the pace. Set the pace.
Was there any... Can you repeat the question?
Was there any life event that solidified or strengthened your faith?
I feel like my life is a series of events that have solidified and strengthened my faith in particular. I think there's so many things that have happened in my life. My brother was sick for a long while actually, and he used to have seizures and a bunch of stuff, and I think that time was very difficult, so I think that really drew me closer to God. And I remember clearly the day he hasn't had a seizure in maybe 4 years now or something. And the day he had his last seizure was on his birthday, and that day I just woke up that morning and the Holy Spirit told me to fast, and I was like, oh God, why? And I was like, okay, I'll just do it. I'll do the fast. It's fine. And I was fasting my fast, and sometime during the day, I wasn't home. I don't know where I was, and the Holy Spirit just impressing on my heart that I should start praying. And so I was praying in tongues, just praying in general. And then when I got home, I heard that, oh, my brother had a seizure. And he was having a seizure at the exact time that I was praying. And he was 5 then. And now, funny enough, that was the day that my mom didn't go pick him from school. Someone else, he went home with my cousin. So nobody knew what to do because it was just the driver and then with the car. And he was having a seizure. And everybody was they don't know what to do. And they were trying to call my mom. It was just very chaotic. And it was literally the exact time that I was sitting down and I was praying and praying for him. And it was just wow. And that's the very last day that he has had a seizure. So I'm oh, so that really drew me closer to God. Because God really cares about me. I think that's just an amazing testimony. But yeah. Your turn. I've said the base now.
Okay. I'm trying to think of one off the top of my head because I feel like there's been a lot.
Yeah.
Even just thinking about it from day to day, having to wake up every single day. You think it's so exactly. You think it's so easy, but bro, there's people that go out and don't come back. There's people that just go to sleep and don't wake up. But I think for me, it would have to be just life, my parents being okay, in good health, my friends being okay, me being okay. Even though there's been hardships, there's still things happening. Something why I'm not really trying to mention is because some things I can't really mention. I can't really say them yet. I can't really say it yet. So I can't really be oh yeah, this is why. Maybe sometime in the future I could be able to be okay.
Because sometimes we overlook the small things.
Yeah.
All of the time. And they're literally what strengthens our faith.
No worry, in the future I'll be able to
stay tuned to her channel so you can hear when she drops it. Just saying.
Okay, next question. Have you ever lost your faith?
Have I ever lost my faith? Would I say necessarily I lost my faith? I think there's just been times where I have questioned the whole thing when things are just not going well at all. And what's actually the point? You know? And I feel it's okay to feel like that. But then I realize I guess now the more I have stayed in the word and come to know God more, I have less of those moments because I'm even when things suck, God is still God and He still loves me and nothing is going to change who He is.
And you're in the word and the word is actually
bearing fruit in you. It helps you to feel less like that. But yeah, there have been moments where I've been people are living their life anyhow and they seem to be doing well on the outside. So what's actually the point, you know? But then yeah,
I'll say I actually have, because for me I grew up in a Christian home, so like we would always go to church, we would always do all these things, but I didn't have like a relationship with God. So like after I left, I was like, what's the point? So like it's like I didn't have that relationship, so I didn't understand like why we had to go to church. Like, it just felt like something we had to do, like, because I'm Christian, I'm religious, I'm just going to church. I wasn't reading my Bible, I wasn't praying, I was just doing anything and everything at that point. But then I think it was like right before I switched programs that I gave my life to Christ, and then I started learning new things and like just
knowing God for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So next question: how does it affect dating, if at all, friendships, work? I guess you're talking about like faith.
Faith is a large part of your life, so whether you like it or not, it's going to affect every single part of your life. It should affect. If it's not affecting every single part of your life, it might be a problem somewhere.
Exactly.
It should actually affect every single part of your life. How does it affect? Honestly, I feel like that's a very broad question. Like it affects it in.
I think with like the different things, it affects different things in different ways. So like if with my friendships now, I have like friends that would want to go out and they're like, oh yeah, let's go to this party, or let's go to this thing, let's do this, let's do that. And for me, I can't exactly. That's why
do that here.
So I think that's why, like, for my friends, like most of the times when some of them are like, oh yeah, let's do this, let's go to this party, I'm like, no, I can't. And sometimes they don't even ask anymore. Like they don't bother, because it's like they already know that I'm not going to do this. Like there's no point you even asking me to go to this party or go do these things, because at the end of the day I'm just going to be there and I'm just going to be looking around. Like, what do you want me to be looking at? Exactly.
My spirit is going to be unsettled the whole time. So like I think even for me, like a lot of people don't even ask me anymore.
I think the one thing with all those things has to be like boundaries. Like with friendships, there's boundaries. With you dating, you have to have boundaries of things that you have acceptable or not. Same thing with friendship. Like you know that these things are acceptable or not. So
and I won't do these things. And you need to be
and you not compromise on
and I also want to say that you need to be able to be firm with your boundaries and be like, yeah, I don't do this, that means I don't do it. So there's no convincing you're gonna do. I just don't do this stuff. And that's about it.
Exactly.
I need to be okay knowing that like whatever joy you have in Christ is worth more than the like temporary enjoyment you get from like doing all the things that you know that you should not be doing.
Yes. This person had like a whole bunch of questions.
Love to see.
So
when she asks for questions, you guys should be giving questions. Dropping questions.
So this one, I have 4 questions. I think this was 4 questions, and then she asked for like an advice after. The first question was, if young Christians are having trouble understanding the Bible, where should they start reading?
Gospel. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John.
Yes, I think that was where I also started, because when I started on my walk with God, I honestly didn't even know like where to start from, and like there's certain friends in my life that I just thank God for. One of them is Steve. Like Steve, I used to go to Steve for everything. Like when I first, I'm like, Steve, what should I do? What should I read? Like Steve gave me devotionals, like stuff to read, like where to start from. Steve was like, oh yeah, let's read this, let's do this, let's do that. And then I have like also my group of friends that we do like fellowship and stuff together. So they also like say, like we also come and we talk about like all these things. Or if I'm having trouble understanding a certain chapter that I just read, I go to them. I also use
commentaries.
Yeah, I use commentaries. I use like
NASA has a whole like how to study your Bible video.
I feel like I have to do an updated one because
maybe go binge watch that. Just saying.
Yeah, but definitely start from the Gospels. Gospels are a good place like to start, to get to know like God and how like everything kind of. It's not, I don't say started, because everything started from Genesis,
but the gospel is the story of Jesus. And like, I think when you're trying to get to know somebody, you should know like background information about them. what he did, who he is, who actually is Jesus. You learn that from the gospel. And then after that, like Romans, Ephesians, all of that teach you who you are now that you're in Christ. So start from like the Gospels, then you can go on to know who you are in Christ. Then read the Old Testament, because a lot of people don't like to read the Old Testament because they feel like it's before. But there's so much
you learn from the Old
Testament,
like and going from the New Testament, going back to the Old Testament,
everything makes a lot more sense.
You're like,
wow,
eye-opening. That's literally me right now. Like I was reading Genesis and I'm like, oh, I didn't see this the first time I read it. Like I don't get like what.
I've been studying the book of Deuteronomy and like every time I'm just like, oh wow, 1 + 1 is not equal to 2. Wow.
I feel like even with the New Testament, it was like that for the New Testament, because when you're reading the Gospels and you're reading down, most of them are like they're saying the same things,
just from
different points of views, and things are being like explained more, or like things are being shown more from like someone like
if someone missed the detail, someone else will put something on account, and you're like, oh, okay, now this makes sense. Imagine how this started or where it came from. So yeah, definitely start with the Gospels.
Yeah. So next question she said was, as a young Christian, do you only listen to gospel music? And if not, what other music do you enjoy?
Give me Beyonce. I'm sorry, because Beyonce has been trending for days now. But like, do you want to start?
Yeah. I would say for the most part, I do listen to Christian music a lot of times, but other times too as well. I listen to Igbo songs because I'm Igbo, so I listen to Igbo songs. Sometimes I listen to like Afrobeat songs, but there's songs that I get convicted for, like you start to hear the lyrics more clearly than you did before.
Bro.
Which song was it that it was so catchy? It was on TikTok, I think. Also, I can't remember the name of the song, but it was this song, and I had been looking for it because I heard that chorus on TikTok. So I downloaded the song, went back to listen to it, and the first few lines I said delete because it was just like, nah, this is too much for me to listen to.
I was actually talking about this with one of my friends recently about the whole gospel songs, and like honestly, I think one thing that really helps is asking God to like open your ears to, because sometimes like the songs sound catchy and they sound great, but when God opens your ears and you actually start listening to the lyrics and deep in them, you're like, man, this is nasty.
And you don't know some of these things actually like affect you. Because
music is very deep.
Music, things you watch, they literally affect your
mind's on them. Like they're just like gateways to your mind. So yeah, I think for me too, I listen to a lot of gospel music. I try to listen to gospel music in different genres. So besides the typical like Hillsong, Elevation, Graphic City, stuff like that, and like Nigerian gospel music, like I'll listen to gospel Afrobeat, or like if I feel like listening to, like if I'm in the gym, I will listen to gospel rap.
Yes,
I need something to get me pumped.
Listen, no, that was another genre that I did not expect that was going to be. Like I have a whole playlist of gospel. Like I literally just go on TikTok and I'm like, gospel gym playlist something, and I go there and listen to people's playlists, and I'm adding like stuff that I actually like to mine. And you just be at the gym and like no pre-workout, no nothing,
you just be pumped. It's like you're getting energy from your spirit.
No, there's so many good songs that I was just like, I didn't expect to like it this much, but I love it.
And I think that's what limits a lot of people with gospel music, because when people think gospel music, they're like,
they think it's just like the normal, like there's actually a whole bunch of genres.
Gospel music is in every genre. There's R&B, there's hip hop, there's Afrobeat, there's rap, there's whatever you like to listen to. I do listen to secular songs now and then. I hear a lot of them from Instagram and TikTok, to be honest. Like every time I'm on there, and if you've heard the song like 3-4 times, like it just gets catchy. So I do listen to Afrobeat sometimes, but I think I try to watch like the artists that I listen to, not even just the artists, like the lyrics of the song that they're playing. Like if
there's certain artists I'm not listening to. I'm not listening to Naira Marley. Like what am I looking for?
Exactly. Like I listen to like the lyrics of the songs that they sing. Like if it's not something that like always my spirit, why exactly am I listening to this? Why am I bringing it close to me? Why am I? Because like music is something that like you're just walking on the street and a song will pop into your head and you just be singing it, and you don't even know that you knew that song before. So it's
and
like,
sometimes like your spirit actually makes you feel uncomfortable when you're listening to some of these songs. Like you're just listening to it, your ears are open, you just feel uncomfortable. You don't feel like that comfortable just listening to certain songs anymore. So it's like,
yeah, because I think music is very interesting. Because the songs are catchy, they just tell us, it's not that deep. It's just a song.
But it's actually that deep.
It really is that deep, you know. Because whatever you're listening to is seeping into your mind, seeping into your subconscious. Like it's really very spiritual, and it's really, if like gospel songs can get you feeling a type of way, like just a song, you know, you're crying, you're whatever. And then so imagine like if you're listening to like other songs, like how do you feel about it?
Yeah.
Like I think because sometimes with music we don't like see the immediate effect on it. Like it's not something like, well, like if you put your hand in hot water you get burned, so you know that you shouldn't do that. But with music most of the time we don't like directly see how it's affecting us spiritually, so we feel like it's something that we can get away with. But it's not really like that.
Yeah. Okay, so the next question is, how should young Christian ladies dress in your opinion?
We actually had this conversation like
we had this conversation
like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, we were talking about like modesty as a Christian lady. To be honest, I think it is up to your convictions and what you feel comfortable doing, like comfortable wearing. There's certain things that for sure you know, like, okay, these outfits are questionable with how you dress, but to be honest, it's up to your convictions. There's certain people that are not comfortable wearing jeans and they only wear skirts. There's certain people that feel convicted about like showing their tummies and like use certain outfits to wear certain things. I feel like I get convicted about like swimwear, so I wear like one piece. Yeah, I don't wear like a two-piece bikini. I can't do that because I don't feel comfortable wearing that. Like I just feel like, yeah, that's too much for me. So I think it's up to your convictions, like what you're convicted like to wear and what not to wear.
Yeah, I think it's very broad because like I don't think it's like with modesty is a one size fits all for everybody, because everybody comes in different shapes and different sizes. Like we all don't look the same, so like what we look, I can't say, oh, wear only skirts, and you look terrible in skirts and you're literally forcing yourself to wear skirts for no absolute reason. Like it just doesn't make sense. But yeah, definitely convictions and like, you know, just like ask yourself. I guess sometimes it helps to ask yourself to that, like, if Jesus came, if Jesus was to come to me in person,
would I be
comfortable talking to him with this outfit that I'm wearing? And then I guess I would say being your brother's keeper, but that's a little dicey too, because
what someone else would wear is also like,
they definitely honestly go to God. Like actually if you're like tell God, oh, ask him, Holy Spirit, like should I wear this, should I not wear that? Like even when if you're trying to like change your whole wardrobe and like buy outfits, like ask God and be like, God, what is my style? Like what should be my style? What do you think like I would, you know? And I feel like God knows everybody in the he created everybody, so he also knows what's his style. He knows what's good and what's not good, and he knows what you look terrible in, so like he will advise it properly.
So I really hope we answer that question like
I was just thinking about that.
The best of our ability. I think I'll also link down the video that we watched because she explained modesty as a Christian so beautifully. Like it's not how people take modesty as. So the way she just put everything,
that was such a nice video.
It was such a nice video to watch. So I'll definitely like link it in the description box. So next question is, as a young Christian, what do you find challenging?
There's a lot.
I can't challenge
exactly. This life, there's problems.
The first one I'm going to have to say is reading the Bible.
Being consistent.
Yeah, being consistent with reading the Bible. That's definitely one of them. Second one, definitely going to have to be like being in a sin cycle, like basically repeating the same sin every single time. And it's like you don't want to be in a sin cycle, but that's another one. And this one I feel like it's because I live in Grenada and there's not much to do, but sometimes it's like, yeah, I want to go out, I want to do stuff, but it's like, what is there to do?
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're seeing like your friends go to parties and do all these other things. Like, it doesn't entice me, but I do want to go out.
I guess being in the world but not being of the world is like trying to like set yourself apart every single time.
Yeah.
Sometimes it sucks, honestly. Sometimes you want to do some stuff but you know that you shouldn't be doing them and you're like, oh God, this is just sad. Like, yeah, definitely that.
And like saying no on things that you don't want to do. That in itself is like, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely that, and I guess being consistent too, like being intentional about making God a priority.
Yeah,
that's going. Shouldn't be like life and school, everything just gets like
Before you know it, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to read my Bible this morning. Before you know, you're running out of the door. Like, I don't have time to do this. I'm tired. And it's like, really and truly, we have time.
Yeah, because if you count the amount of time you spend on TikTok today, it's like.
That time you can use it to be reading your Bible, but no, you want to be watching TikTok videos. Okay, I think we answered that question pretty good. But she said, while this is not a question, could you offer any advice for those who consistently believe in God yet falter? Read your Bible.
Literally the best advice I could say, honestly, is stay in the Word. Read your Bible.
I'll say talk to God.
Yeah.
I'd say talk to God, one. Because I think like with prayer, it doesn't have to be prayer that we all like grew up knowing. Or actually have like
and build an intimate relationship with him and be like, God, honestly, this is what I'm struggling with. Honestly, this is like honestly sometimes I just go to God and be like, God, honestly, I don't feel like doing this today. I don't feel like doing that. I'm really struggling. I don't want to do all of this. Like, I just want to be in my bed sleeping. This is too much work. This is too much like I feel like sometimes we find it hard to be like honest with God about our feelings and like how we are. And like I said recently, I've really moved like Deuteronomy and stuff. And like when I was reading the other day and I was like, man, I want to the kind of relationship Moses had with God. Moses was always honest with God. Like God would be like, Moses, do this, and he'd be like, but I don't feel like doing this. Sometimes you offer excuses. Sometimes you be like, God, this Israelites are stressing me, and like I don't know why he gave me this work because I didn't ask for it. Like he was literally just always honest with God with how he felt. He really did not care what anybody else thought. Like if this is how I'm feeling, I tell God this. And I never saw one single time that God like actually like chastised him or God got angry with him for like God would get angry with him for sinning and other stuff. God would never get angry with him for telling him how he feels straight.
Yeah, like asking questions. Like God never be angry with all those things. Because it is supposed to be a relationship, like any relationship that you have, like you actually talk to people that you're in a relationship with, you ask questions, you do all these things. So that's how it's supposed to be. So I'd definitely say prayer. I'd say read your word, and another one I would have to say is have a group of friends that you feel comfortable enough to tell things, like when you're struggling with certain things, like
get your self-esteem.
Get
your self-esteem.
Like there are people that when you're struggling with certain things, you can go to them and be like, listen, like guys, or like every week or something, you guys meet up and you're like, this is how my week went, this is how I felt, this is what I'm struggling with, this is why, like, you know, you guys just talk about certain things and you come together.
Everything gets yourself a Christian community. Because even when like you can also tell them things, and when you're moving left, they can also like quickly tell you, well, this way you're going. It's not really it, you know. It's really not it.
Next question is, would you believe in Jesus if you didn't have a Christian family, based on what you know now about Jesus?
Yeah, I definitely would. Because my relationship with God currently is personal. Aside from the fact that my parents are Christians and I came from a Christian family, like I've come to know Him for myself. There's people that come from Christian families that don't believe in God, don't want anything to do with Him. And well, that's that or that. But like, I feel like my relationship, I've come to know Him for myself, know His character, understand Him, and actually love Him on my own, outside of my parents.
I would say the same thing too. Before, I think it was more so of a religious thing. Like I was just doing it based off of like, I'm Christian, my family's Christian, go to church on Sundays, okay, that's it. But after that, it was like my mom likes to say, Sunday medicine. only only Sunday medicine. So I think that's how it was for me, but now like it's different. So I'll say I would believe in Christ like now. So last question is, how do you know God's voice?
By reading your Bible, honestly. Like the Bible tells you a lot about who God is. So if you stay in the Word, like you will learn how to like listen to Him, you will learn how to speak with Him from like asking Him to help you. Also ask Him to help you make out His voice. Yeah. I think that oftentimes like, we always like try to find steps to do things.
No, I think we think when we ask then how God talks to us, we think it's like a voice. No, you think it's like this voice like coming from heaven, like talking to you.
Because like that's how it was.
No, but like literally, it could be you just reading your word and certain things are just like popping up in your head, and certain things are just like, okay, this is this. What is so funny is you see messages on that, you see like preachings on the same
you
thing,
just be going on Instagram,
songs you listen to, like songs you find on, let's say, YouTube or something on the same topic. So it's like that, just learning to discern His voice, and also like asking yourself, does this align with scripture? If it doesn't align with scripture, then that is not God.
What you're hearing is something completely
different. It's probably your voice speaking to you, but
basically, asking God, praying to God for discernment so you can discern His voice. Actually sitting in the Word and studying the Word and like reading the Word would help too. And then there was one other thing I said before. What was it? He was reading the Word. He was asking God for discernment. It was quieting other voices around you.
Oh yeah,
like that's distractions. Like, because like you want to hear God's voice, but you're also hearing every other person's voice, or like you're listening to like, no, I wouldn't say teachings because not sermons, but like everything you listen to, the podcast you listen to, the songs you listen to, I just play a big role. Like
people don't understand how these things play like a huge role
in your life, like because you literally can't hear God because like half the time like your mind is filled with like every other thing going on, like or like you already have your daily stuff going on. If you're not thinking about, oh, I need to go here, I need to do this, you're thinking about, oh, the movie you just finished watching, the song that you've just listened to that is not of God, it's literally in your head, you're humming it, it's repeating, the podcast, like everything, and like at what point do you actually want to hear God in all of this? Because God could actually be speaking and you are the one that's not hearing Him because you have so much chaos and noise going on in your mind. So like just learning to fighting other things that are not of God, so you can actually hear from Him. Absolutely.
Yeah, that was a good one. So that is basically all that. Yeah.
Thank you guys for sending in questions.
Don't worry, we'll probably do this again if you guys send more questions. But
it's not too late. You can still go back. Just put some questions in there.
Alright, so this is basically the end of the video. If you guys liked it, please don't forget to give it a like, share with your friends, your family, and also, most importantly, don't forget to subscribe.
Leave a comment too in the comment section.
Yeah, let us know your answers to some of these questions as well. You know, we also want to learn from these questions as well. So
you want to know about Bible study, go watch Nasa's old video. You know you have plenty of videos to watch on her channel. I'm just saying.
Alright. Yeah guys, so that is it. See you guys in my next video.